Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Reactor, and this is Quinn. And today's article comes from DW.com. I have no idea what that is. Never heard of it. Well, no, I think I did. And it's a really short URL. But anyway, Pope advisor urges rethink on Catholic celibacy. So they're thinking of getting rid of the whole celibacy thing so that priests will stop abusing children.
Are they talking about the priests are going to remain celibate, or they're going to try to
get rid of
help
the
kids remain celibate?
No. They're saying, well, actually, let's
altar
read.
boys.
I haven't even
I don't
read
know
it
what
yet.
you call them these days.
I haven't read this yet, so
victims.
I can't really speculate
Right.
too much. But my guess is that they're telling the Pope, we need to get rid of this whole celibacy thing because it's making priests take advantage of little kids.
They're saying, let's give priests
a wife.
Right. Let's let them think outside the box.
Or back in the normal societal box.
Right. So that they maybe stop, doing what they're doing.
Yeah. The head of Germany's Catholic Church has called for a debate on the celibacy requirements for priests in response to the clergy sex abuse scandals. Oh, that was one sentence. Interesting. Cardinal Reinhard Marx said weak excuses were no longer acceptable. And here we have a picture of...
No faces, but just some good, honest gentlemen praying on a nice, with a nice...
two guys wearing robes that
two good old boys in some
humming
white robes.
Is not creepy at all.
Not at all.
Uh-huh.
They kind of look like Star Wars looking characters.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they feel like cool because of that sometimes. Like, yes, I am a Jedi.
They wear like ancient robes.
With modern watches. It doesn't even make sense,
Like, yeah, really? Your religion makes you wear a rope belt?
Really?
That's a little weird.
You stand around in a church all day and you need to know what time it is?
Cardinal Reinhard Marx has called for a frank discussion with the Roman Catholic Church on homosexuality, abuse of authority, and the celibacy and the training of priests as part of a response to clergy sex abuse scandals. Now, I have a theory that the Catholic Church was created as a secret boys' club. You know, if you're into little boys, you become a priest. And maybe over time it evolved to be two separate entities where one's an actual religion and one's just a creepy club.
People are afraid of cults all of the time. They're afraid that that this cult is going to take a loved one from them and then brainwash them into thinking something that they wouldn't have thought by themselves. And then as they progress through their life, they find out that they are, drawn to that life. And then they become, priests, and then they do the same things that have been happening to them. So they're just trying to like put a what do you call it, in the gears, a wedge in the gears to stop it,
a spanner in the works.
And then maybe they can still have their whole thing going, and it'll work later better than it is now.
Let's just stop raping boys.
Right. I mean, you said it, but yeah, I agree. They need to stop doing that.
Like, hey, maybe we should work on this problem.
Right. Because
how many centuries have we been dealing with this?
It's like what do you call it? It's like it perpetuates and it keeps going because then those kids grow up and they join.
They have so much power that they get away with this. And there are priests who actually had little boy pets or something. I read about, like, one of the popes was taking homeless boys off the street.
Like a pet with a leash?
Yeah.
Oh, like a pet.
Maybe not like with a leash, but he would take homeless boys and then, do them.
That's messed up.
Yeah. A pope. This isn't a priest. This is the Pope from like 500 years ago. He had like a boy toy. Pretty creepy.
I believe it.
Yeah, and it is extremely weird that the Catholic Church hides it, knows about it. Everyone knows about it. Nobody cares.
There is just
this is a house of God. It's okay. Anything happening there is God's plan.
Right.
Almost like they made their own excuse. If no corrective action is taken by the church, and we are working on it, we must work on it. The state has no other choice but to intervene, Marx said on Friday, referring to ongoing investigations of church leaders in places like Chile, the United States, and elsewhere. So, yeah, he's saying, like, the cops are going to get involved.
It's not headline news. Living in the United States, I never hear about it.
Because it's old news. Yeah, it's always happening.
I don't think people really care because I mean, even though there are so many Catholic people in the United States, I just don't think it's the main concern for most people because they're like, no, I can protect my kids. My kids will tell me what's going on.
People are more worried about Trump being in office than they are about the Catholic Church being an institution of child rape.
Right.
It's pretty messed up.
Like I said before, I'm definitely, my kids would not be getting daycare from the
The Catholic Church.
from them. No, I could pay for some better daycare.
It's also extremely weird to me that the Pope does not care.
You know, honestly,
You're supposed to be like the guy who cares about other organizations that are doing this crazy shit, you know?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Dave. I would take on a third full-time job to make sure my kid did not have to go to a Catholic daycare center. That's just my opinion.
Did you go to Catholic school?
No, I didn't.
I did. But I was not touched. I'll put that
Do they beat kids with rulers on their hands and arms?
No, that's like how they used to do it in like the 80s or 70s or something.
Okay.
Marx, one of Pope Francis's 9 cardinal advisors, made his remarks at the launch of a master's course on safeguarding of minors at the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, where Jesuit recruits are educated. That opening came as the Vatican convened more than 250 bishops to discuss how to better minister to young people. They had a meeting for that. Like, how can we get more young people?
Master's course on safeguarding minors. The handbook to that is probably very. I would imagine it's very well thought out, well planned, and makes a lot of sense. But unfortunately, no one's following it.
Or on the surface, it's like, Catholic Church, please stop. You don't need, do not have a meeting discussing how to get minors.
I'm curious at how many times allegations have been spouted out in their direction and they just grab the pamphlet from the pontifical training course and they're like, can't you see? The pamphlet describes what we're trying to achieve here. And they're like, sorry, it's not working. You need to go over that.
Yeah. Worldwide scandals. A string of sex abuse scandals involving the Catholic Church has been exposed around the world in recent years, including in Germany. In recent years? Huh. That's also hilarious. It is not recent.
Well, for me, I didn't hear about this stuff as much when I was a kid, but ever since people have been sharing stuff online for most of my life, it's been in the news somewhere.
The Catholic school I went to, I went there in like the year after everything happened, but there was a priest who was abusing people. So
right.
It doesn't seem like, I know a lot of people might not have dealt with it in their life, you know?
Right.
But it was like right in my face as a kid, you know?
Right.
So to me, it just feels like, yeah, everyone knows about this. This is normal. My whole life, this has been the case.
Right. It becomes, the more time that goes by, it seems like the more it just gets kind of pushed away and nobody really cares about it.
Uh-huh. Or it happens so often that people are like, oh, another one? Yeah.
Right. I mean, all they're really doing is hurting their brand. And that's
But it's crazy that it's not even hurting them. People are still going to church. You know? People are still giving money.
People are afraid to die. They need something, and that's just their way. That's their in. It's like it supersedes all of the nonsense because they need that. And really, they don't. They don't understand.
Last month, a church-commissioned report detailed that at least 1,670 Catholic clerics had abused more than 3,600 children and teenagers, mostly male, in German dioceses between 1946 and 2014. That's insane, man. That is...
Clerics meaning that,
priests.
They were
priests.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they were kids.
1,670, and this is only in Germany. That's insane.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah,
this is an organization of abuse.
Right.
For centuries. Nobody cares.
I feel you. This is messed up stuff.
Insane. Words of concern are not sufficient. We must act, Marx said, before adding that the causes were more complex than just priesthood without marriage. Celibacy is not the cause of abuse. That is absolutely not the case. Yeah, I think priests are abusers who want to be close to people and trusted. You know, it's an extremely trusting role.
Unfortunately, the cycle continues through their adulthood if they were abused as children, and unfortunately, I don't think that they may not have the right people to talk to even deal with it, to even begin to deal with it.
But don't become a priest. They're predators. If
the problem is they could do it, and then they could just go in that little confessional thingy, and then everything's okay, because the other priest who's their buddy's like, no, don't worry, this shit happens, bro.
I do the same thing.
say a
I'll
bunch
absolve
of
your
these-
sins if you absolve mine.
Exactly, and it goes both ways. Unfortunately,
They found a loophole.
Yeah, it is the loophole.
We can be
Right.
predators
It's a
and
gray
deal with it.
area.
However, Marx added that the church, when recruiting, should ask itself whether weaknesses such as hidden homosexuality combined with celibacy could lead to future problems.
It's a problem.
Only 1/3 celibate. Former monk. Anselm Bilgri, who until 2004 was a Benedictine monk in Germany, said in an interview with German newspaper Die Zeit, that there are estimates that 1/3 of priests are heterosexually active, 1/3 homosexually, and 1/3 who sincerely attempt to comply by observing celibacy. Wow. They're all secretly
It's just a personal choice, really. You can be whoever you want. As long as you're in those three categories, apparently you can do whatever you want.
Bilgri, the author of a book published last month in which he calls for the end of celibacy in the priesthood, said belief in the practice was no longer shared by many people, resulting in many priests living out their sexual urges in secret. A 2015 study by Munich-based theologian and psychiatrist Eckhard Frick found that among 4,200 priests and 8,600 pastoral workers, only 1 in 2 would decide for a celibate life if they could choose again. Oh, so a lot of them, they all hate it. Yeah, obviously.
If they want to go,
Natural instincts can't touch them.
especially if a priest wants to go live out their sex urges in secret, by all means, just let them go do it. You know, if they want to have someone jam a heel in their head and whip them and whatever weird stuff they're into, or just going to be with a woman, let them do it. It's obviously better than making them be stuck in one room all the time, alone, or with a bunch of boys. In my opinion,
Like
That's
they
what
don't
I
get to
think.
experience life, but they're the peasants that they preach to do.
And you know, I don't, you know, like I've read about some of the world's religions, and some of them like some of them are saying, you know, you're saying detach from society, go like meditate in the mountains or whatever, but come back after you're better, and then you're a better person, you make the world better. If you're always confined and you can never go out and live out any of your fantasies, do anything, you're gonna just not change, and you're gonna do weird things. Like, you ever like
Go crazy.
Yeah, it's just not healthy.
Trying to hold back natural instinct, natural urges.
You know, if you want to be slapped in the face and called names and pay for it, then by all means you should. You know what I'm saying? They need that.
So my thoughts are that the Catholic Church is obviously an evil entity.
Definitely.
Like, how can
Not all
anyone
of
even
them.
argue? No, all of them. Why would you join a community that is known for centuries to hide child abuse? Like,
To infiltrate it, maybe.
okay, sure, but
Yeah.
then you're going to get the same flack as everyone else.
The problem
You know?
is you could infiltrate it and unfortunately be drawn into it to where you're a member and you start agreeing with what they're telling you, because
I don't know about that.
I don't know, in many ways, how do you escape? It's like a cult.
I wonder what their reasoning is for protecting the predators. There's no valid reason. There's nothing they could say that would justify it, you know? And it's obvious they
Right.
do. The Pope obviously doesn't give a shit. Like, there is something seriously wrong, and people are okay with it, and they go to church all the time. You know, like, I have no problem with religion. I think there's no such thing as a religion that knows the right answer.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with following religions. But if you're going to follow a religion that is a big pedophile ring, you're part of the problem.
Well, if you're giving money to it as
Yeah,
well, it's like
yeah.
are you going to give
You're
money
giving
to a corporation that just burned down your entire village?
Uh-huh.
No.
Like, people are giving money to an organization that spends that money to protect predators. You know?
right,
Like-
you're
like, it is a
protecting their
fact.
gang. You're
Yeah.
helping their gang survive.
Uh-huh.
basically.
You're part of the gang. You're part of the problem. If you
Right.
if you give money to the Catholic Church, you are part of the problem.
Couldn't
And
agree more.
Nobody could deny that the Catholic Church is evil. I'm sorry.
This stuff's messed up. That's
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't agree with the Catholic Church existing. But those are my thoughts. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I think I said too much, David.
All right. So that's it for the video. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.